Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast this afternoon. My name is Cossy. We're going to speak about the contract details of Manuel Locatelli and Ben White. Both contract details have actually leaked, have actually come out. Duncan Castles, the man, of course, writing with the Times, and is the man that is responsible for telling us what exactly is inside Ben White's offer and contract at Arsenal. What is he going to sign? And of course, the same journalist says Arsenal is ready and willing to double or more than double the wages of Manuel Locatelli to see him join that club. There's a lot to speak about in terms of contracts, and I'm really gonna be I'm gonna try to give an insight on why we are offering so much money to these players. James Maddison, we are trying to double his wages. We are trying to double the wages of Houssem Aouar. We are trying to double the wages of we have actually doubled, we are almost tripling the wages of Ben White. And we are almost doubling the wages of Manuel Locatelli. There's a big question for me why we are offering so much money for players. A big question as to why we are offering so much in terms of wages. Things that never happened before. Because Arsenal, we were really not used to spending big, buying players at 50 million. Ben White, 50 million. It would never happen in the back in the days, and then giving players those massive contracts. So maybe we've got a lot to speak about in this episode. Do smash a like on the video. Do subscribe to the channel as well. Make sure you turn on the notification bell so that you don't actually miss anything when I do upload. Smash a like. Subscribe. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about Ben White. Do you think it is he is worth a 5-year contract and getting 120,000 pounds per week? That's a very big question. On top of getting him at 55 million pounds, we are actually going to give him 120,000 per week, which is actually more than double what he has actually been getting at Brighton. So Duncan Castles, in the recent hours, has actually come out and clarified on the contract situation with Ben White, and has also talked about the Manuel Locatelli offer. So with Ben White, he's actually said the player's been offered a contract until 2026. We saw that from Fabrizio Romano yesterday, but he says the player will actually get more than double in wages per week at what if you compare to what he's been getting at Brighton, because at Brighton he's been getting less than 60,000 per week, and now coming at Arsenal it's going to get 120,000 per week. That is more than double. That is absolutely a big contract. And anyone who asked us yesterday, why would Ben White want to downgrade? Why would Ben White want to go to Arsenal? That's one of the reasons. There's no way you're refusing a massive upgrade in your salary. It's like you're earning less than $1 million, and then someone gives you a billion. There's no way you're gonna turn that down. So Duncan Castle says the contract runs until 2026. That means it is 5 years. That means it is 5 good years on his contract. And apart from that, he's going to be getting that amount of money, 120,000 per week. It's a very good contract. For me, if anyone still has a doubt at why Arsenal won the rest of Ben White, or why we were the favorites to go to Ben White, we had talked to the player, and that was one strategy that could beat off all competition. The money. How much are you offering to the player? How much is the player gonna get at your side? 120k per week for a player who's just 23 years of age. He has only played one Premier League season like this. That is massive. That is massively huge amounts of money for Ben White. And I think anyway, let's first talk about Duncan Castles and Manuel Locatelli, because it says Arsenal are also looking at doing the same thing with Houssem Aouar and Manuel Locatelli. So Duncan Castles, I think it was a couple of weeks ago when he came out and said Arsenal were preparing an offer, a contract offer for Houssem Aouar that was 4 years plus 1 year an option of contract extension. And the contract was worth 100,000 per week. And we were discussing Houssem Aouar last week, and I told you how much he earns. He earns around 64 64,000 per week. So if you're giving him 100,000, you're almost doubling what he's getting in Lyon. On top of giving him on top of giving him Premier League football, a chance to play, in one of the best leagues, or in the best league in the world, or in Europe, wherever you want to call it. So now we want to double the wages of Manuel Locatelli. Locatelli is actually earning around 40 to 50,000 pounds per week. If you're gonna double his wages, it's gonna be around 11,000 or 12,000. Sorry, not 11. Is it 11? I think it's 11, not 120, right? Money. So if you want to double, if you want to double the wages of a player like Manuel Locatelli, yes, he doesn't want to play for you, for us, no, he wants to play for Juve, but whatever we've got to do, anything we've got to do, is going to depend on how do you convince the player, because that is where we are. Sassuolo are convinced. They want, they know we want to take the player. They know, us to have the financial capacity to pay for the player. But the player is not convinced of why, he should join Arsenal over Juve. And, of course, reports yesterday coming out and were saying that Arsenal is even more interested now in Manuel Locatelli, because Juve are struggling. And Locatelli says, I would rather stay at Sassuolo rather than going to the Premier League or joining Arsenal. So it's a little bit, it's a little bit of a fast. But for me, in my own sense, to make it, to put some context to it, the reason that's why we are buying players and giving them lots and lots of money is the same reason I spoke about at the beginning of the window. That if you are Arsenal with no Champions League, with no Europa League, and you're gonna sign players like Manuel Locatelli, if you're gonna sign in quality players, you've got to expect competition. And how do you beat up the competition? One, of course, you have to show your attractiveness. You're either in the Champions League, you're either in the Europa League. Things that you do offer to a player. We don't have those at the moment. We have nothing. All we have is is Premier League. So if you're competing with a club like Tottenham, that is also playing that is also playing Premier League, it is so hard for you to come out and say, you know what, we are playing Premier League and Tottenham ain't playing Premier League. It's so hard. So what you have to do now is to pull the financial muscle. Show your financial muscle. Pull it out. Try to show these players that, you know what, yeah, we might not be the best team. We might not be, the best team last season or the best team, at the moment. But we can give you some money. We can give you a very decent offer. Money is one of money is one of the biggest motivators, in the world. Despite, leave alone footballers, leave alone anything. If you ask about the biggest motivators in the world, it is money. It's one of them. Not, it's not the only one, but money is one of the biggest motivators in the world. So I'm not really surprised that we're giving players huge contracts that maybe at some point in time we were not offering. Maybe at some point in time Arsenal couldn't offer. Now it's like we are laggards, and with laggards, they're always at the bottom. They're forced by conditions. It's like we've been forced by conditions. One, to spend a lot. Buy a 50 million Ben White because you have no option, yeah. And then the other thing is you've got to give him, on top of buying him very expensively, you've got to give him high wages, because the reason there is Chelsea and Everton are interested. How do you beat off the competition? You've got to, you've got to sell him to the picture of what you want to do and what you and what you want to achieve, and then also you've got to give him the money. You've got to give him much money. So at the moment, Manuel Locatelli's contract, Arsenal want to double his wages, and it's the same thing with Houssem Owa, as the same thing that has happened with Ben White. The question for me in the chat, that before I leave, is: do you think he's worth that? Do you think aren't we over giving? Aren't we over offering 50 million, 120,000 per week? Manuel Locatelli almost will be getting 110,000 per week. Aren't we overpaying these guys? Please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll speak to you very, very soon, probably in the next one.